This is Elias Dufexes. You're watching That Thom Clancy Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode of That Thom Clancy Show. I am, of course, your lovable robot host, Mr. That Thom Clancy. What is my torso doing? Get on the right. Come on. There we go. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Now, won't you be my neighbor or something now that I'm having all these problems getting dressed? So, welcome. September has finally come. August is now over. And the hell that is 2020 continues apace, as September has decided to greet us with some wonderful and terrifying news. David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, you know, those guys from the Game of Thrones disappointment, just landed themselves a new series over at Netflix based on the novel Three Body Problem. Quote, "We look forward to spending the next years of our lives bringing this to life for audiences around the world," they said. Now here's hoping they don't burn up on re-entry. Get it? It was a landing joke. In today's political joke, the Biden campaign made themselves a nice little island in Animal Crossing. Now, I don't know who they're trying to reach with this move, but maybe they're just trying to say, hey, Uncle Joe is cool. Now, President Trump's campaign, meanwhile, made their own island, but it's kind of on fire, and I'm sure that they'll find a way to blame Joe Biden for that, you know, because it's clearly his fault why their island is on fire. Which is, everything's being really weird right now. Okay. Good news, everyone. It seems that a Mass Effect Trilogy remaster is really going to happen. Bad news, everyone. It's likely going to miss its rumored October release date. Now, claiming to have some insider knowledge, Jeff Grubb of GamesBeat says that EA has an unannounced remaster of the greatest games of all time, and it's just not quite going to make its target October release date. Now, all of this just goes to show that EA clearly has no idea what it's doing with Mass Effect, because they should have set the release date for N7 Day. Now, of course, it wouldn't be the news if I forgot to mention the new GPUs from NVIDIA. The long and short of it is twice the power and for the same price, and man, that 3080 is looking mighty tempting. Now, NVIDIA was kind enough to send me a test unit of the 3090. I've had it here at the office for a couple weeks now, and it has been killing me to tell you all about it. I only have one small problem. I just don't have a case big enough to hold the dang thing. So, free to whoever can make use of it. So, without further ado, today's guests are the co-hosts of Between Realities, a YouTube podcast that's kind of similar to mine, but slightly different because they're meatbag humans. Now, if you don't get enough of me 4 to 6 days a week, you can pop on over to YouTube every Friday and catch them too. So, Bits and Pixels, please welcome Alex and Skeeva. Hey, guys.
What's up? How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. I mean, a little nicer if you didn't crash your spaceship into my brand new set.
You can blame Skeeva for that.
You know, I will. It appears he's gotten a haircut, and the haircut has ruined his flying ability.
Dude, this is our second ship. Clearly, I never had a flying ability.
The only reason that he recognized your haircut is because I obviously have not gotten one.
You're getting a little shaggy. That's cool.
Dude,
Though.
it's so out of control. It's super out of control, man. I have to. Very soon, I'm gonna get it chopped off.
I mean, look, I'm just gonna say that the simple way of getting a haircut, especially for guys in the present day and age, is just like a set of wall clippers. You can get them for like $20-$30. They will last you your entire life, and you never have to worry about barbershops being shut down.
Boom.
I just sharpened the fan blades in my house.
You
There
know,
you
it
go.
shows.
Dude. So
Or you could
Yeah.
transfer your consciousness onto a hard drive and just forego that.
yeah, and then just
That
program
this
it
meat sack
not
body,
to.
like you.
Yeah,
Like you
just
called
program it not to for my hair not to grow.
Look, I'm not going to say that transferring one's consciousness over to a hard drive is either simple or recommended. This was a freak accident. It was entirely the cat's fault.
Heard that.
So, well, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It's wonderful to have you here. I've been a fan of your show for since I think June was the first time I popped in on your chat, somewhere
Nice.
around there.
Yeah, man.
Thanks,
Awesome.
bro. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. This is extremely badass. Like,
Yeah.
this is some next level stuff, dude. You're scratching the surface of something. I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
think
This
something
is
big.
I really like your show, especially the last 10 minutes. Because that's usually when I actually end up dropping in, and
Yeah.
it's like, "Hey, I'm here." and
I
he's
gotta
like,
be
"I'm wrapping
honest.
up."
I was waiting for you to jump in the call in the last 10 minutes.
Oh, that would have been good. All right, we'll be back.
Yeah,
No.
right.
I mean, Alex, you can stay.
Thank you.
But the first question that I've taken to asking everybody on the show over the last few weeks is, well, what are you guys playing? And that includes flat games. I know, Skeeva, you've got like some got some feelings about the flat games.
Feelings against I have no problems with flat games. I just don't. Here's the thing with flat games for me is I have very limited time. I'm a dad and I try to be a good one, so I try to give some attention, and we're now pretty much homeschooling because schools in this state are pretty much still closed. I mean, it's just crazy, right? So there's just very little time. So the time I do get, man, I'm playing VR. I don't care if it's 2 a.m. I'm hopping in, I'm doing something, I'm popping some zombies, I don't know. But,
So what are you playing?
so I'm playing, really all I've been playing lately is Onward, because there was this tournament for GamesCon. Yes, I did not wear my jersey because Alex looks better in his.
Speaking of,
yeah,
how did you guys do in that tournament?
Alex did great.
We were competitive. Our team was competitive. We
Yes.
did not win either of our matches, but they were good matches.
They were.
And I'm a very competitive person, and a lot of times I'm not having fun if I'm not like cruising and crushing it. And I had an absolute blast during this tournament. Like, it was so much fun, and I'm not just saying that. Like, it was seriously awesome. I really enjoyed using the cyber shoes. I enjoyed playing with everybody who was in that tournament. It was freaking stacked with legends. So
Yeah, it was, man, and I've always wanted to be on. Not be on, but I've always wanted to play with the VR Master League. But I'm just not their level. They're another level.
they're
You know
really
what I
good.
mean?
Yeah.
And this was an opportunity where I got to play in a VRML game. It was there were announcers, and it was sick.
Right.
It-
And
was
honestly, it
legit.
shows how much of a different level they are on, because the Lonely Viper was the one VRML player
Yep.
who was in the tournament,
And he
and
took
his
it all.
team
Took it all.
definitely took it.
Yep.
I don't want to say it was easy for them, but it was obvious he was going to
Yeah,
win that.
I
tournament.
think that's why he's the Lonely Viper, because he kills everyone around him.
Yeah. He killed all of
He's
us.
lonely.
Oh man, yeah, that's neat. I just
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, what else is there to say? I mean, it's for such a new medium, and I mean, especially considering that esports, while it's effectively been a thing in South Korea since for over 20 years now, esports in the U.S. is still very young, and then especially too with VR itself being very young. To see that 4 years effectively into the life of consumer VR, that there's already a growing esports scene, like, hell yeah, man. I mean, Nintendo's been around pretty much all of our lives, and they haven't managed that at all. So,
right. I don't think Nintendo wants
boom,
to.
Nintendo
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah, they
No.
got
Yeah,
they got a different demographic.
Yeah, completely. I mean, they have like done a couple of things just to shut people up.
Like
because-
Splatoon.
Yeah, well, yeah, they've done like some events, and
Oh,
they do
yeah.
like national events that you can like play in online and qualify for stuff.
Mhm.
So they do some things, but nothing on the level that they could with their resources.
Well, let's remember back in like the 80s. Well, maybe I remember because I'm fucking old, but but they had the events, man.
Right.
Like they flew kids
Yeah,
out. They had
those
these
World
giant
Championships.
screens. You know, the winners got like gold special edition cartridges, and like, dude, they did it up. You know, so I think they've shown that they can. do
I
that stuff.
know precisely what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I remember seeing many a comic book ad for those, and I remember every single time my family saying no.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
yeah,
soul crushing.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
they just did that documentary about what's it called on Netflix, Game High Score,
oh
and
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
they do an episode that like really like talks. You know, they interview a couple of kids that were in that, and they talk about their experience and stuff, and like their parents were all on board. Which yeah, I remember not being old enough, so I don't remember not being
Well,
old enough.
the
I was
funny
not old enough.
thing for me on this is that I, of course, like many of us, and I'm sure many of everybody out there in the audience, grew up a gamer, you know, and so this is something I've taken very seriously for almost 40 years now, and so it's really funny to me because about the time that was all going on, I'm all like, Nintendo, let's do this. And then less than a decade later, my dad goes all like, hey, these video game things seem to be really taking off. Let's start a game studio. And I'm like, where the fuck have you been
Wow.
my entire life?
That's
But-
cool.
That sounds like a
Yeah.
good thing, even though
Yeah.
it took a while. Like,
I mean, what do I know?
My dad's played like one video in his life, and it was on one video game in his life, and it was on the Atari 2600. You know, he just doesn't have any interest. And
My
there's me.
dad only ever played things for the most part on the Apple II because he parked that in front of his exercise bike. So,
Nice.
you know,
Pretty cool.
exercise is boring. So,
That it is.
yeah. Real quick in
Clearly.
chat here.
Well, that's boring.
no,
Alex
now we have
tries
YouTube.
really hard. Thank
Yeah.
you for joining us today. Chroma,
Hey.
who remembers the wizard? I remember it, but find me somebody who's actually seen it. My big toe, it's my buddy Max. Good to see you. Willow Moon, hi. Good to see you as well. And these are over there on the, I'm trying to figure this out, how you're looking at. On the left of the screen is Skeeva. To his right is out. Oh God, you can tell I haven't been like on stage in a theater for way too long. Is Alex? They're the co-hosts of Between Realities, a YouTube podcast about virtual reality and all of its various technologies. So, yeah. Well, I guess the real big question then is, so when, like, what led to starting that show for you guys? You know, like I get the feeling you're a couple friends who've known each other for at least like like 4 or 5 years.
Do we start now?
Yeah.
I wonder how long the speculation was gonna go. So, you know, that is the big question. After all,
Yes.
what led? So we have actually not known each other that long.
Mhm.
We've known each other for about a year now, a little over a year now, and we met through we met on Reddit. Skeeva made
eHarmony
Reddit.
was it?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Grinder, wasn't it? Grinder?
You know, I'm glad to see it's actually able to come up with a match for people.
Yeah, it did, and we've just been so happy ever since. So he made a subreddit on Reddit for Arizona VR enthusiasts, and I found that subreddit, jumped on there, and like it was just him and me, like like nobody
Yeah.
else on there, and we met
Yeah.
up at like this LBE like optical tracking VR location thing, and like ran around in a room and kind of got rubber banded around for a while, and had a
yeah.
decent time. But you know, after that, like realized we had a lot of things in common, started hanging out, and started like sitting out back and, you know, elevating and
yeah, having
having
conversations.
conversations about this cool shit, and realizing that it sounded like a podcast. So we were like, man, we
Mm.
could be doing this. And he was like, at the time, helping me do stuff on my channel on YouTube, and had started coming with me to the events that I was going to pre-COVID. So I didn't have to like film myself with a selfie stick and stuff like that. So yeah, we just kind of been working together on stuff since then, and just being homies. And
Sharing the VR love, man. Just trying to get it out there, Yeah, it was funny. I was like, I did, the subreddit was VR and AZ, and I tried to get, it's like almost 100. There was almost 100 people on there, but so I tried to get, the whole point was kind of to one, meet people that had interest in VR, and then to get some actual multiplayer on-site stuff scheduled with people, right? Get our quests, do some badass stuff in some friggin' warehouse somewhere, right? But so we scheduled this first event, and yeah, Alex and a couple of my personal friends were the only ones that showed up. And yeah, Alex, yeah. So yeah, we are the biggest VR fans in the state.
Yeah, find somebody else in Arizona that can hang.
Yep.
I
We'd
mean,
like to see them.
Now we're in space though. Now we just cruise around space. We're not in Arizona
Oh,
anymore.
yeah,
So
right.
yeah.
I'm trying to come up with a good, really quick Arizona's full of old people joke, but I'm just not coming up with anything too quick right
Well,
now.
it's full of. Have you played Arizona Sunshine?
Well, that's
Kind of what it's like.
I mean,
except
that's a
everyone's got cell
video
phones in their
game.
hand.
Video games also told me that you just have to be a bad enough dude and you can save the president. And, like I don't know that I can really take that as worthwhile advice.
Yeah, there are definitely some old folks here,
Yeah.
which probably is why.
Yeah, it's also one of the biggest spring break destinations at Lake Tahoe and shit.
Like Havasu.
Lake Havasu, not Tahoe, Lake Havasu.
Like Havasu.
Yeah.
Dude, I
So-
went there one time. It was, I was like over it. Like I realized I was too old. I was like, what am
Yeah.
I doing here? Like
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
not the place for me.
Yeah. It's got everything. This state really does have everything now. It's the state that we reside on when we're not flying around in our shit.
It's your spaceport that you call home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm more of a
Yeah.
Mos Eisley guy myself, but to each
Yeah.
their own. Man, no, that's crazy because like you guys have a really decent rapport on the show, and it's like not going to say that it's got the lifelong friend kind of thing going for it, but definitely the you've known each other longer than you have kind of thing. But
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Thanks. I think the VR community, I think you'll find a lot of that in the VR community.
Yeah.
It's like we've been interviewing people on our show. One of the things that I love about our show is that we have a guest join us every week. So it really like mixes things up and kind of like changes the dynamic every week, changes the energy a little bit, and kind of offers some new perspectives. Last week we had Gary Walkden, Reckoner VR, and he was like telling us that's what he likes about the show is that every week somebody new is going to be there, and that's really exciting. And there's so many times that we've had someone come on the show that's a content creator, who I've been watching videos for, and they've seen my videos and stuff, who when halfway through the conversation or, maybe 10 minutes into the conversation, I'll realize that we've never spoken together, like spoken to each other before, but it's so natural, like
Yeah.
I've heard him do his thing. He's heard us do our thing, and like, then you start talking and it's like, oh yeah, we know each other, but like we actually don't. Like
yeah,
this is the first time we've ever spoken,
Yeah.
So I think because of what VR is and because of the nicheness of it, like the reasons why it's niche, I think that means that the people who make up the community are very passionate. They're
Mhm.
smart enough to know that VR is the shit. Like not everyone's smart enough to know how fucking cool it is. You see
Or how important it is.
or how important it is or
Yeah.
whatever, like
Yeah.
not everyone gets it yet.
Yep.
So I almost like, give everybody in the community a little bit of like the benefit of the doubt in that respect. Cause like
Mhm.
you're cool enough to be into VR, so many people are awesome. And we've made great connections with so many people in this community that I
Mhm.
honestly feel that way about a lot of people who are VR people. Seriously.
nice. Well, then you'd like at least a couple of the people who are in chat right now because Chroma and Willow are two people that I've gotten to know through the VRA Live Discord. They're I don't know everybody in there is a virtual reality artist, but a large portion of them are, and they hold live events to show off each other's artwork. Actually, just this past weekend, they had a not a rebroadcast, but like an encore of their Galactic Safari event from a couple weeks ago. And they just got like a whole bunch of people together and set up like these little virtual galleries and had this whole big crazy event. And I'm not going to say anything about it, but there might be a little something going on. Nope, wrong face. That's the right face. There we go. Nope, come on. There we go. whatever. But there's probably gonna be another event coming up in the nearish future. So, and I'll loop you guys in on that. I think it's the kind of thing you dig.
Oh
Sweet.
yeah, that sounds awesome.
So, because like literally that whole Discord is about, this shared love of, this brand new art form, and it's one of the great things that like I really appreciate about this. Like my first experience with VR was in games, and I of course looked at it and I was just like, oh my God, this is the future of gaming. And that's not untrue. It's just not also entirely true, because there are these so many more uses for VR beyond just playing games. I mean, shit, if you told me 3 years ago that I would have figured out how to turn consumer VR into real-time motion capture stuff, I just said you were an idiot.
Yeah.
But here we are,
Yeah, you were the idiot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm yeah. Frequently. But speaking of that, I do have a little something here. No, dang it. Hold on, guys. I have to get this. Be right back. Don't worry about me.
We've got
I
nowhere
got
to
it.
be.
Okay. So, on Twitter before the
There's
show.
a delay on our screen here, so
It's okay. It's okay. I'll hold it up long enough for you. This is just the backside of it. So on Twitter earlier, I mentioned something to the effect of, I'm an ass. And that's true. So I made this card up for you. And I just wanted to just do a quick pronunciation test with you guys. Oh, no. So, how do you pronounce this word?
Oh no, Fresnel.
Thank you.
I always say Fresnel or Fresno. I know. I get the
Bravo.
I do know it. I just suck at speaking. So I decided to podcast,
Yeah, no, because I think the first time I came into your show, the both of you were saying it, and I was just like,
Oh no.
Oh my God.
No. Listen, I don't even know what that word means. All right, let alone know how to pronounce it.
it is
So-
a type of lens. In the context of how you all were using it, was referring to the lenses of VR head mount or VR displays. They are in particular the lenses used to help focus the light from the screens more directly into your eye. And it is named for a Frenchman whose first name I forget, named Fresnel. And it was originally used for theater lighting.
There it is.
Interesting. Whoa, there it is.
So I my education in college and stuff is in theater. So like whenever I see that and I hear it, because you're not alone, you're not the only person who says that, and just every time it's just like it's one of those stupid hills that I will forever die on.
Why is it the people that say the word are the ones that are criticized, but the person who originally spelt it wrong is not?
It's
spell
a I mean, look,
God.
man, he's a Frenchman and he spelled his name how it was spelled. So
No, his mom spelled it wrong.
Yeah,
That's my
There-
story. I'm
there.
sticking to.
but
keep
yeah,
digging your own grave over here.
but either way, I as I said, I'm an ass, and I had to throw that on the card.
I love that. Yeah,
No,
that's
you
great.
needed to take that opportunity to make an example out of not just Skeeva, but anyone who's abusing your word. We all know
Look,
that you like that word.
Yes.
I do. It's
Yeah.
come up more than once on this show, and believe me, I have corrected them every time.
That was good, man.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad we're not the only one that
Yeah,
that
no,
watched it.
it's super common. Although it's just like there are other ones too.
I didn't do that.
Look,
I-
I will freely admit that I might be misremembering.
No. Oh well,
So-
you're not misremembering with me. I
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh no,
say
I'm not
800
misremembering there. I'm saying I might be with Alex.
I am
Mhm.
incapable of falter.
Okay, that gets a laugh track, but man, but yeah. So this is always kind of a fun one because like I've noticed that there are basically two kinds of people who like VR. There are the people who are like, yo, VR is pretty sweet, and then there are like the people like us who are like, VR is not just sweet. VR is a reasonable future for all computing, and we're just ahead of the curve. And so what I'm curious, what were your first experiences with VR?
I should probably go first. My the very earliest experience, just to throw this out there, that I remember having was a demo on a Samsung Gear in a store. Somebody had one in there, and I like looked in it, and it was like a theater room or something. It's kind of funny. It was like a stage, maybe with like a ballerina on it or something like that. And I remember looking around, and being like, "Cool," and that was it. Like, didn't connect, didn't land. Like, I was like, "That was pretty sweet. I can imagine this being awesome." And then I remember when I was hacking my Nintendo Wii, I learned about head tracking technology and how in the future it's going to help displays like move in a way that tracks your head movement so you can like aim independently from the way that you view things. And that's when I started to realize what VR was going to do, being able to give you that that freedom of movement to be able to separate your head from your hands and stuff. I was like, holy shit, this is real, and this is actually going to come. And then I remember seeing Facebook's videos about like what was going to happen in the future of VR. And I'm like, holy shit, now I'm really stoked about it. And then a demo of PSVR in a Best Buy sealed the deal for me. I did like the whole VR Worlds demo, and I was blown away by it, and like went home telling the lady about it. She's like, okay, cool, like VR, that's I'm like, no, it's super awesome. And then I went and paid at a VR arcade with a homie because I needed to try multiplayer VR at that point. And then once I got into a couple of online experiences in Rec Room and saw how you can interact with other people, that was it. I knew I needed to be a part of it, and I got a PSVR, and that was that.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. I went when I was a little kid. I went to this expo in Boston, Massachusetts, and it was like this future expo. And there they had this really wild fucking VR setup with this game called Dactyl Nightmare. I'm sure you've probably heard of it. And so me and my sister went, and you stood in these fucking things with these rings around your waist, and you had this big gun with this giant cable that came off of it, and you had this like head mounted display that like had to be like assisted on a big friggin' arm, because they were really heavy because it was all like
It was CRTs.
CRT, yeah. So but I mean, I went in there, and dude, my sister went in one, I went in one, and I was young, and my sister was young, and I got to like walk around in space, and I got to shoot my sister, and that was like blew my mind to little bits, man. And then I got picked up by the pterodactyl, and it dropped me, and like, oh my god, that was it. Like from then on out, I was obsessed. Like Lawnmower Man came out, I watched that movie like 9,000 times. I was like, oh my god, someday I'm gonna have that shit in my house.
It's gonna make you super smart.
Yeah, it's gonna make me super smart. Yeah, you can call me Job.
What was like the thing after Dactyl Nightmare? Because there was like a pretty long gap from there to the next thing.
So from there, it was just movies and sci-fi and stories for me about VR until Palmer Luckey came out with the Oculus and did this Kickstarter, and I was like, holy shit! And I watched it very closely. At the time, I was just fresh into a brand new business and had a new baby, and had a new house and all this stuff. So I didn't have a bunch of money to throw around, but I saved up, and then by the launch of the PSVR, I went out day one and got a PSVR. And then, dude, I played the London Heist, and it changed my life again. Like VR, dude. Oh my god! Like I have a hard time with anyone that puts that shit on and looks around and goes, "Yeah, okay."
There's
Like,
so many of
wow,
them.
what is wrong with you? You have no soul.
There's so many of them, dude.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
that's kind of my story.
Dude, I feel that entirely. Although I think I probably have the funniest first VR experience because I was high as fuck and I was in college and I just played on the Virtual Boy for like an hour, and then yeah, dude, that thing was so terrible.
Dude, I still have
Yeah.
one. I still have my Virtual
Like,
Boy.
don't
It's
get me
fun.
wrong, I love it. It's just terrible.
Yeah. Yep. It
But
burns
then-
into your retinas. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely do not recommend that with the consumables I was having that day. But after that, for me, it was PAX East 2014. Yeah, there was a guy working on a game called Enemy Starfighter, which is now known as House of the Dying Sun, and he had a DK1 set up with the demo, and I had been like tweeting him like every day before. It's like, dude, I am beelining for your booth. I'm gonna play this game, and it's gonna be my first VR experience, like real VR experience. And like a friend of mine got me in early. We went over. We sat down. He's like, "Cool, I need to run a test on it. Like, why don't you play it?" And I'm like, "I got this." And I just sat down, and even though like my friend took video of me while I was sitting there, and I'm just dead still, just not even moving, but on the inside I'm just like, oh my god, what is happening here?
Right. And the DK1 is 3 degrees of freedom. There's not even any tracked space. So yeah, you must have really been blown away for the DK2.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. By the end of that year, I had bought a DK2.
Nice.
So, and I wanted to start developing with it, and then that didn't really go anywhere. But, and then when the Vive came out, I picked up a Vive because I wanted that room scale and I wanted the motion controllers.
Yep. That's where it was at. And when, the Rift originally came out, it didn't have motion controllers. It came with an Xbox One controller.
Yeah.
And well, they worked on
Wow.
the touch controllers. But I'll tell you what, man, the time that they took to design those things, the original OG Gen 1 touch controllers, to this day are the best controllers in all of VR, better than my Valve Index Knuckles, better than the new touch controllers, better. I mean, in my opinion, they're absolutely phenomenal. They're weighted perfect, they're ergonomic, and they're badass. And they still work. And I've been through 3 sets of Valve Index controllers. So
I'm just trying to think because I haven't spent enough time with the Oculus Touch controllers. Like I legit used them once.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I went up to North Carolina to visit Red Storm, and I didn't know that they were making Star Trek Bridge Crew. And I found out about it, and then I was like, yo, I need to play this game like 10 minutes ago. Because there are literally like 2 experiences in VR that I want, and being on the bridge of an Enterprise or Enterprise style vessel is one of them. And sure enough, they set me up, and like I put on the CV1 headset. They gave me the touch controllers, and like I legit, dude, I cried in that headset because like, yeah, because like Star Trek for me growing up was like my shit, and
Nice.
the opportunity to sit there at a bridge station was just like that was so many dreams come true. So
that game is dope. That game for a Star Trek fan is dope. Like you sit there and you got to communicate with your team. You have to, because everyone has different parts of the ship that they command and different things that they have to do, and everyone has to work together to complete the missions. It's really good. It looks pretty good. It's on the Quest. It's on everything. So yeah,
Dude,
good game.
the final nail in my coffin was when I did finally get my own PSVR, which I got a PS4 off of OfferUp, and I got a PSVR off of OfferUp, which if you don't know is like a Craigslist, or just like you can buy used shit off of people who live in your area. And I bought a used PS4 and a used PSVR because I had to like scrape together money to afford it, and got it for half price or whatever, And the first game I played at my own house was Super Hot. And I was loving it, like going through the intro and stuff and having a blast. And I get to a scene where on the screen it just says show your dedication, and it puts a gun in front of you. And if you've ever played that game, that you'll know that they don't give you any other hints or anything. They just say show your dedication, and that's it. And I'm like sitting there like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? And then like I realized that they want you to turn the gun on yourself and pull the trigger. And I was like, oh my God, no way, bro. Like, are you really gonna make me do this right now? And I'm like, okay, fine. And I did it, and I pulled the trigger, and in that scene, like the headset comes off, and like the whole environment became colorized, and I'm like in a room with like computers and shit everywhere, and it just melted my brain. And I was like, oh, like it, like I that's when I realized the true potential of like what you can pull off with true immersive technology. And I've been going hard really since that moment.
Well, it's like, especially with Super Hot VR, that was like this huge turning point too for VR, because up until that point, so many of the games were basically just wave shooters.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the big competitors with Super Hot was the John Wick VR experience, which was about the most disappointing thing that you could put John Wick's name on.
Damn.
Yeah.
But then you have Super Hot, which is the complete polar opposite of that. Just this balls to the wall action experience, and it was just so good.
So satisfying, dude. Like so satisfying.
The game was incredible.
Yeah, it
Absolutely
still is.
incredible. Yeah,
it's still fun.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's to this day, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. I mean, it's powerful. And that game only has like for the majority of it 2 colors, like
Right.
white, red, and black. So
And it's so good on the Quest, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
getting rid of the
It's
wires
perfect.
and like
perfect.
it looks good on the Quest, and it's a great fit. It tracks better than the PSVR.
Yeah.
I really liked it on the Quest a lot.
Yep.
See, I solved the wire problem by cabling mine over the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have that too, but I'll tell you what, I turn around and the wire still like does all these crazy turns and crinkles up, and then all of a sudden something's pulling on my head sideways, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And like nothing takes you out of the game like that shit. So it's, floor or ceiling, there's issues with wires.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to a wireless future.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once they solved that latency problem, so.
Yes. Yep. Dude, yeah, everyone's going to be 5G, 60 gigahertz wireless. Everyone's got patents now, PSVR, Valve Index, for wireless 60 gigahertz. It's common, man. Getting rid of those wires soon, I believe.
Dude, I tell you, like, I am very much, as an early adopter of the Valve headsets, I am super excited to see whatever they have coming out after the Index.
Right.
Because, like,
did you hear about that Darth Vader one that they had going?
Oh, I think I saw it. Like there was it had the super tall screens, or is that a different one?
Yeah, well, so they one of their engineering teams was tasked to put together the ultimate VR headset. No cost required, they didn't have to stick to any budget, and they made this like Darth Vader helmet thing.
Damn.
And like it did everything, but it was so fucking expensive that they were like, the plan was like, maybe to have something that was a little bit more affordable, and then to have this ridiculous headset, and they were just like, it's too ridiculous and way too much money, and they just scrapped the project. But yeah, Valve,
as I understand it, they still have that prototype.
Oh sure,
I'm
sure
it's just
scrapped the project.
They'll just never be able to sell it to real people.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Imagine getting your hands on that shit someday.
Or just like touring the place and throwing it on and taking it for a test spin.
Well, I hear Valve is pretty dope like that. Like, if you're in the area and you go up, you walk up to their building and go up the elevator, and they'll let you in. They'll tour you around if you're a fan. They're cool like that.
Hey, Gabe.
Hey, Gabe. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. You're watching.
Yeah. Like, can I have that
You know what, man?
amazing
I'm
car.
perfect. I'm super happy with my index, but like that's the kind of thing. Like, dude, I'd love to see even just the original Vive ones they had, which were like the little satellite dish things. Like,
Mhm.
it's just to just like,
History.
put a hand. Yeah, exactly. Put a hand on history. I mean, that's like worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you can see the original NASA VR headset that they designed a long ass time ago. That's in one of their space museums. I'd like to try that thing on.
Well, it's like you saw those astronauts, these images with these astronauts wearing VR headsets recently. Like, that ain't no Oculus Quest. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder what he's got on his head.
Yeah.
Like, that thing's gotta be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it's gotta be like the pinnacle, right? Like,
Yeah.
if an astronaut's gonna use it, like zero latency, zero issues, super clean, like
Mhm.
it has to be. They have
Yep.
the resources.
Yep.
I bet
Yep.
you that shit's
Totally.
dope.
They have very good resources, for sure. Now, if it was military grade hardware, now that would be some crazy stuff. Because I don't remember which country it was, but it was one of the Scandinavian ones, and they were experimenting with the system of using an Oculus Rift headset for the pilot of an APC, using cameras placed all around the vehicle. So the pilot could sit in, this completely sealed area and have a full 360-degree view of everything around him, so he could, operate the vehicle and just see, no blind spots, nothing. So
Damn.
That's cool.
Damn.
Yeah, the military doesn't fuck around when it comes to.
Dude,
they have no.
because they just
When-
have money to throw at problems.
Yep.
I'm surprised we
like-
don't just have things that just throw money at people to like get them to stop fighting.
Right.
It's just like throw a
That would work.
briefcase
That would
of like hundreds at people and they just be like, well, dang, I guess we don't got to fight anymore.
Shut the fuck up. Yep.
Right? Isn't that like a thing that happened in Star Trek? Like they
Yeah.
like created like a thing like the best 3D printer in the world to like print anything, and then like as a result like war ended because like nobody was fighting for resources anymore. Like
That
Yeah.
is one of the hallmarks of Star Trek. They eliminated scarcity, and with scarcity no longer being a problem, everybody just kind of chilled out.
Yeah.
there it is.
And that's what Elon Musk says is going to happen with AI and 5G covering the world and automation, and obviously lots of artificial intelligence. Is that a lot of people are going to be out of work, but at the same time, the cost of everything is going to go way down because everything is being mass produced with no labor, being done efficiently and more efficiently as the AI learns how to do things. And it's just like this whole thing. You're gonna lose jobs, but there's gonna be abundance in almost everything. So who knows?
Yeah, here's
I guess
hoping.
we're on for the ride, man. We're on the roller coaster. So
Right.
yeah, here's hoping it doesn't fall off the track before we get to that point.
Nah, if it was built in America, who knows? Oh man. Well, the next big thing that I have on the list, and I alluded to it earlier with my rather large joke.
Oh, that was great.
That was friggin' hilarious,
Yeah.
dude. Because
Dude,
that card is very large.
I was sitting there and I was watching that stream, and I was just like, well, I found my keystone joke for the day. Because I mean, the 30 series graphics cards look amazing, and since I've watched that, my expectations have been kind of tempered. Because I sat down and I watched a couple tech YouTubers talk about it, and by a couple I mean I just watched Gamers Nexus's like 30-minute video on the card, and like they throw a bunch of numbers around, but until we really get those real world benchmarks, like they're basically just really poorly drawn graphs.
Their
But
sales
they
tactic,
look really
sure.
cool.
Yeah. I mean, they're claiming that the 3080 is twice the 2080 Ti. That's fucking huge, man.
Which, yeah, and
Huge.
that is pretty amazing too, considering that it doesn't trusted the 2080 Ti's on GDDR4 or 5 memory, but it still has more overall memory than the 3080 does. So it's like, but yeah, it's either way. I think they are beautiful cards. Like that is one of the first reference designs that I've actually liked.
Nice.
To the point where
Yeah,
it's like
they look really cool.
I
But is that
want
how?
one of those cards.
Is that relevant? It's not relevant, is it?
Oh, of
Doesn't
course
feel like-
not. But come on. if looks if looks weren't relevant, then RGB and custom PCs right now wouldn't be a thing. You know, and like the looks although in this instance the looks could impact performance because the whole thing is built around a supposedly more efficient heat dissipation method, but allegedly again until people actually get their hands on it and actually start running stuff. But yeah, I mean, but dude, like that performance on those cards, like if it's even 75% of what they promised in that, like this is a huge leap.
Dude, I feel like we are definitely about to see some very exciting shit in the next year. Because if you compare this to like consoles and like the generational gaps between consoles, in my opinion, there wasn't like a ton that happened from like the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One or the PlayStation 3 to the PlayStation 4. Like, yeah, it's better, but like it wasn't like, holy shit, this is huge, as it was like from Super Nintendo to Nintendo 64. Like that was just mind blowing.
Yeah.
And when you talked, or when PlayStation talked about the PlayStation 5 and how it's just gonna like exponentially reduce loading times and stuff like that, like the claims they're making are sounding similar to this kind of stuff. It's just like they're like, holy shit, like if it's even close to that,
Dude,
this is going to be amazing.
That's
you know,
crazy, dude.
so I really do feel like we're almost like getting, we're almost being having it like made up to us. You know, like there was like a generational gap where like it wasn't all that mind blowing. It was like, oh, this is much better, thank you. But like I'm ready for that like Nintendo 64, just like like whoa, just like VR, you know, like I'm ready for these next gens.
Well, we have the secret sauce. There was no secret sauce last time. This time there's AI,
right?
And AI is, dude. I mean, and this is just artificial. What do you call it? Narrow intelligence? It does one thing, but it does it really friggin' well, you know. And that's what is giving us that incredible boost in performance. And I mean, it's fucking crazy. And the design is great. You know, I thought it was interesting on the 3090 or something. I think or 3080. They had, you know, I mean, I guess there's no good place to put it, but they have like a power thing that like comes right out of the heat sink. You're like, oh, that doesn't look like a good design choice. But you look at that card and you're like,
well, it's because of where the PCB is in reference, because previously the PCB is running the full length of the card, but because they've done that cut in the PCB to make room for the extra heat sink and fan, you know. And speaking of fans, one of the best fans and mods in the channel, Mr. Fictional Cat, hello, has just redeemed 1,000 total points. And gentlemen, I think a dab is in each of your futures. Oh, snap so hard he lost the headset, gentlemen. That's commitment.
oh yeah, you're just gonna have to be backwards. His voice might be reversed.
That gets a coin, but toss a coin to that dab.
Right on, yeah. Fictional Cat.
Yeah,
What's
Fictional
going on
Cat,
there?
Mod Supreme. You can't see it, but he made a cactus that's living right over there.
Oh, cool.
Actually, hold on a second. We'll throw it out. You know, like, hey, Fictional Cat's cactus, right over there. But let's get
Trying
back.
to figure it out.
Dude, I dabbed these headphones into oblivion.
Nice.
Do you have it on right? So should we check? Oh, you know, snip it.
Oh, no.
Snip.
It's okay.
I don't like that.
Backwards. It's a backward. No,
Oh,
that was a terrible dad joke.
I hate it.
Are you having problems? I'll send Duckus.
Yeah, thank you.
Are you good? He can fly. He's a duck.
Oh, not good.
Okay, Duckus to the rescue.
They're broken. So
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I broke them. I
Yeah.
broke this headphones.
I think
Oops.
I think they were like on life support,
Yes, they were.
and I just came up and I was just like,
Yeah.
I pulled the plug with a dab.
Yeah. You told.
See that? All right. So anyway,
well, Duckus is on his way. I don't know how he's going to handle in the vacuum of space, but he's determined. So,
nice.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, the 30 series of cards looks so good. And like once we start seeing the MSI cards, the EVGAs, once we get like a real opportunity, because like I'm looking at those cards and like I'm still waiting to hear back to see if I got a developer grant for this show. And if I got that grant and these cards coming out, like I could see a rebuild in my future.
Hell
Nice.
yeah, nice, dude.
Yeah,
I'm trying to come up with a way to put this to my wife that this 3090 has to happen.
Right.
Dude, like I'm looking at the 3090 is a great looking card, don't get me wrong, and like the performance stuff on it, and if it effectively being a Titan as opposed to a TI, but
Right.
that $1,500 cost, like I don't know that I can like,
Yeah.
even as a business expense, rationalize that.
Yeah, I mean, but you are a robot. I mean, you could go out and just do some things and just.
I mean,
erase
I could
pretend it never happened.
I could definitely use the extra AI because I'm sure that I could use some deep learning super sampling for good, for good.
Absolutely.
Don't humor that. All right. Humor good ones. Don't humor that shit.
Look, I at least wouldn't use it for evil, okay?
Right on.
So, but no, man, look, here's the thing. I made the joke earlier about the Mass Effect Trilogy remaster, which hopefully is like a legit thing and not just some bullshit rumor. Because flat out, the Mass Effect series of games is like my favorite series of all time. But and I'm getting to my point, I swear. I put so much of my own morality into those games. Like I try to play them as Renegade and I always get like an hour in and go, oh my God, I feel so bad about those things I just did to those people. And I restart the game and I play Paragon.
I'm definitely that kind of player.
Yeah.
I have a hard time just like completely ignoring my conscious, like my conscience, like my pull to do good.
Yeah.
Like chivalrous.
I always go through and do everything good on the first run. And then, and not necessarily with this series of games, because I've actually never played them. But I do remember when they came out with the last remaster and there was all these ridiculous, horrible face animations that were all over the news, gaming news at least. And,
is that the one where like people were like maximizing like the effects of them and stuff?
Yeah.
And their faces were like getting all garbled.
I
Well,
think
they got, like these big eyeballs and like I don't know, they look terrible.
yeah,
really
that does seem to happen very frequently. I noticed that Horizon Zero Dawn and Death Stranding both seem to have problems with that. There was an Assassin's Creed, I forget which one, where they weren't loading the heads of the models, but their hair, eyes, and teeth were still showing up. So they basically looked like the aliens from that one John Carpenter movie with Roddy Piper, whose name I'm forgetting right now.
Yes, the one that was all about obey.
Yeah,
they live.
Yeah, they looked like that, except it was just like what?
That's funny.
Yeah, but
dude, that movie. Can we sidetrack a little bit here? I don't know if you've seen that movie, but obviously you have. I
know enough about it. I haven't actually seen it.
Oh, okay, forget it. Yeah.
It's cool, man. Make your point.
No, I was gonna say I feel like there's a lot of underlying messages in that movie. Like this dude gets these glasses, and then all of a sudden, when he puts them on, he can see what people really are. And when he looks at different materials, he looks at the newspaper or a menu or whatever, then he sees it for what it really is. And like he'll look at something, a sign, and it'll just say consume, or
Right.
and it's just all about running us like sheeple. Really, I feel like it's so relevant to today, even though it's a cheesy 80 movie with Roddy Piper and
and Keith David.
What?
And Keith David.
Yes, and Keith David. Yep.
Which lends it some actual acting credibility.
Yeah, they had some great friggin' fight scenes, and
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
it
at
was
the end
awesome.
of the
But,
day, like that's a message that's been relevant. I'm like not to take the foundation out of your point here because it's an excellent point, but I mean that goes all the way back to like Dawn of the Dead too. You
Sure.
know, like George Romero was all like, "Hey, there's all these zombies, and what do they think to do when there's zombies? Go to the mall."
Right.
So
Do you think that was? Do you think they were making that point?
yes,
You think
they.
that's a subliminal thing?
No, that was George Romero like explicitly said
Really?
like that was the point.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit! I barely believe that. I
It's
will.
hurting the sheeple, man.
I will believe it.
You know.
Well, I
you
mean,
just go buy stuff.
well, that's the wonderful thing about science fiction, and also too playing robots on the internet, is that everybody like sees that as like this kind of like safe expression. So you can throw like all sorts of really hardcore social commentary into sci-fi, and like people don't give a shit because it's science fiction and it's safe and it's funny and look at the alien with the things on his head, but but it's got a real point to it. So,
Alex really botched up this headset, and now he's not going to be able to hear anything you
No,
say
I'm
for the
good.
rest of the
I heard all
show.
that. Good. Don't worry about me.
oh man, well
That was the ultimate dab. When Alex does anything, he does it 1,000%.
yeah,
So-
you know what? If you're back on the show in the future, Alex, maybe take off the headset before the dab.
Okay, yeah, that was my fault.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, guys, this has been a ludicrously fun show, but we're not done yet.
No.
Oh, whew. I was
Good.
like,
Yeah,
are you
we were
shitting
going to
me?
protest. Hell no.
It's fine.
We won't go.
Because there's one last bit that I like to do that takes some time, and it's a little bit that I call the 5 questions. Now, the 5 questions, if you're unaware, and for any first timers out in the audience, are a series of, 5 questions that I prepared before the show that basically have nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far. So, gentlemen.
It's not all. How do you pronounce this word?
No, it is not all how do you
Okay.
pronounce that word. I only have like a couple more of those cards left. So
That was that, but that is the reason why you're on the show.
Yeah,
Because he needed to tell you face to face.
Yeah, that I say
he's
shit
like,
wrong.
no, I'm getting this motherfucker on my show,
look,
and I'm gonna tell him.
I'm not going to say that you're wrong, but I will definitively say you're not entirely right either.
That's okay.
So, gentlemen, are you ready?
Ready.
Yes.
All right, question number 1. What do you miss most about the before times?
The before VR times?
No, the before 2020 times.
Oh.
Go ahead.
You know, I gotta say, shit. I guess just some of the places I liked to eat because honestly, the whole quarantine time, I didn't really even feel it. I was seeing my friends every day, face to face, digitally, in VR, and we were doing stuff all the time. So like, I almost feel bad. Like I feel like I cheated, through the quarantine.
Right.
Having VR and having it being so, fucking amazing.
Mhm.
I really didn't feel lonely. I didn't feel like I missed out on anything, but that you can't, digital food doesn't taste the same. So I definitely miss some of the places that I used to frequent
Nice.
for that grubber rub.
I
feel
thought you were
that.
gonna steal my answer, dude, because for me is hands down going to conventions.
Yeah, I
Like,
didn't want to take that.
thanks. Thanks. I knew you. I thought you would, but going to conventions is like my favorite thing in the world to do. And all conventions. I love going to the Game On Expo here in Phoenix. I love going to the fake Comic Con that we do here in Phoenix. I like going to all the VR stuff, like everything. Like even if I'm not even super interested, I would go to a convention. I would go to like a gun convention or something because it would probably be cool. Like
Mhm.
I'm not a gun person, but anyway,
What are you doing in Arizona?
I know, right? I know. Anyway,
What are you doing
for
in
me,
this
it's
country?
conventions.
But
I know.
Yeah, right.
They hand you a gun when you get off the plane here.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty
here you go.
much.
Welcome to
I mean,
Arizona.
look, I'm not going to say that I haven't gotten a gun as a birthday present.
I hope I do. My dad has an arsenal, and I'm gonna like start scratching at it that a little bit. I'm like, hey man, like
Yeah, I get guns.
you don't
man.
need all them.
I got guns. I got a daughter.
Yeah, right. Well, we should go to gun convention sometime. Take this thing full circle.
Like, I wouldn't
So
be
anyway-
surprised if those were still going on.
Yeah, right.
But-
yeah, COVID ain't stopping that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't stop my guns.
Yeah.
These bullets here are about 2 microns wide. They'll shoot the protein sheath off a DNA virus faster than you can say corona.
Damn. That was good. Yeah, man. Conventions are my favorite thing. They're so fun. I love being around people who are stoked about stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's just it's infectious.
I also miss conventions. I haven't been to a non-regional one for 5 years. Yeah. E3 2015 was like the last big convention I went
Ooh,
to.
you went to E3. Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good one, bro.
That
What
is
was,
a
what,
go.
was, what was the big announcement back in 2015?
Or 2015. Trying to think, it was 2015. Oh, that was Ghost Recon Wildlands. I remember because I photobombed the last shot of the Ubisoft live event.
Nice.
Beautiful. Good job.
I will track that photo down and I will get it to you guys because it's hilarious. And fun fact, I haven't been invited to anything since.
Now that you've had us on your show, I expect like big things to happen for you.
But yeah, that was the last big one. Otherwise, like in Milwaukee, we do like the Midwest Gaming Classic, and we went to that last year, and that was really fun. Of course, it didn't happen this year. And I've been to a few small tattoo conventions because you can't tell, but I'm a collector. So,
Nice.
in Meat Space, I was known for my collection.
That's cool.
In meat space. I love
Yeah.
that.
You know,
Go to Tom's website, meatspace.com.
I'm pretty sure you shouldn't go to meatspace.com. But
Hope you have some good malware protection.
yeah. Yeah, you know what? Maybe some eye condoms. All right. So question number 2. What is the best starfighter of all time? We asked the tough ones here.
Wow.
So you're not gonna like my answer because I don't really care that much. But I have a memory that you triggered with the question that I'll share.
All right.
I went to the midnight premiere of Star Wars Episode 3.
Okay.
It was the only midnight premiere of a Star Wars movie I ever went to, and that was back before they were cranking them out like they were episodes of a TV show. So it was pretty pivotal, and it was supposed to be the end of the series, the 3rd movie. So I thought that was a big deal. And I remember midnight, it's late as fuck. There's like hundreds of people there. It was really exciting. And the opening scene happens, and there's like these 2 starships that fly into the scene. And I was thinking to myself, man, I'm like witnessing like a historical movie right now. And in retrospect, I wasn't really. Nobody cares about that movie. But I remember having that feeling when I saw those spaceships fly into the shot, and that's what I saw when you asked me that question.
Which ships were they? Were they
Those-
It was Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Oh, okay.
They were the
it's like,
second gen Jedi starfighters. They were the Jedi Interceptors, if memory serves.
yeah, they were going to bust Count Dooku's ass,
So,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
yeah,
all I
yeah.
got.
That's really hard. There's so many good starships out there, man. So many fucking good ones. I mean, the one that has probably the biggest impact on my life was probably the ship from the last Starfighter. I don't know.
Why did I know that was going to come in at this instance? Yeah.
Dude.
All I can think of is the Death Blossom, man.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so cool, dude. That ship is awesome. That movie was awesome. So, have you seen The Last Starfighter? And you have.
Oh, yes.
Right. So it's about this kid from this podunk little trailer park, and they drop off this arcade machine, and there's always an arcade machine there, but it's really a starfighter like simulator. And then like this kid just fucking crushes this game all the time. And so they come and recruit him to be part of the Star Force. And like I'm like, as a kid, I'm like, oh my God. Like I was obsessed with video games. And I was like, that shit was in my brain. Like, what if, what if this is like really, to train us and I'm going to get recruited. And that movie came out and I was like, oh my God. And then, it was just the coolest thing. It was such an incredible moment. And then, he gets to go off and take off in the ship and be this freaking starfighter with this badass ship. And he gets the girl at the end who's super hot,
Spoilers.
Yeah. But shit. And then No Man's Sky came out and I kind of got that feeling. I was like, oh my God, now I have my own starship. I can fly around,
Nice.
in VR and like go explore planets on my own. Like, I don't know, that movie just sticks with me hardcore. And that's a hard choice to make when, you got the Millennium Falcons and the Firefly ship and just so many good starships, obviously Star Trek. And
the Falcon is a freighter and I asked for a fighter.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
So
okay.
you definitely you answered correctly.
Cool.
But yeah, and the Falcon, don't get me wrong, Falcon's great. But
they mess shit up in it, man. I mean, they fight in it. That's for sure.
Oh well, I mean, like, yeah, exactly. But at the same time, they fight in a CR-90 Corvette. But you're not going to call that a fighter.
Oh, no, I guess not.
So, for TIE Interceptor. I'm a simple man who likes his stuff looking mean.
Yeah, it's badass. TIE Interceptors are amazing. Dude, how excited are you to in Squadrons? Yes.
You know how I said earlier that Star Trek Bridge Crew was one of the 2 experiences in VR I really wanted?
Oh, this is the other one?
Yes. That is like... Yeah, buddy. Like, I didn't, like, with Star Trek Bridge Crew, like, I didn't know that I wanted that game. And then, like, I didn't even know it was a thing. And then, like, I found out about it a month before everyone else, and I got to play it, and it was just like craziest day. This is, like, been for years, I've been saying, EA, make VR X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. I will love you forever, so long as it's not complete and utter garbage. And... that is, like, it is legit the only game that I have wanted since I put on a VR headset. And we get it next month. And from everything I'm hearing from YouTubers who've actually played it, is that the game is legit.
Wow.
Sweet.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I went out and I bought a HOTAS for it,
I still need to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, just for that. I mean, dude, like, like, one of the times that I cried in VR was when Star Wars Battlefront came out for the PSVR one, right? The one that had the PSVR mission.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, and you got to get in an X-Wing and do a mission. And like, dude, I sat in that cockpit and took off, and I fucking a couple tears of joy came out of my face. Like, how would I wish I could go back to myself and be like, bro, little kid, yo, you're going to get to fucking fly one of those.
No. Don't even tell him. Don't even tell him. Because, like, honestly, it's like, I kind of, to an extent, like, judge how I'm doing in life by whether or not, like, 5-6-year-old me would think I'm cool. There you go. That's awesome. And, right now, doing all right. But at the same time, like, I wouldn't want to go back and spoil any of this for him, because so much of the fun of it is that first experience. And, like, especially when you're not anticipating it, like, you're going down, you're like, yeah, I'm going to get a chance to sit in an X-Wing. That's going to be pretty cool. But then you do it. And it's just, like, for me, it's like, PC players didn't get that opportunity because EA was in their whole we hate Steam mode. And now they've gotten over that. And like, when I saw their Steam page and saw that Steam VR headsets were supported, I was like, oh my God, thank you. I don't believe in you, but thank you. And just, like, it was just every deity across the universe, like, thank you. And so it's just like, we're gonna get to sit in like X-wings. Like, dude, I'm gonna be able to hop into a Y-wing and go on a bombing run. Like, dude,
Right?
that's sick.
God, it's amazing. This is like one of the coolest things. It really is. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that leads perfectly into none of the other questions that I have on this list. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Good.
Question number 3. What's the trade skill that you've always wanted to learn?
What is it?
Does it have to be a trade? Can it just be?
You don't get to
Like
you don't get to rewrite the question.
but I mean, is it a trade, what is?
Well,
like,
it depends.
trade,
What is
like,
what's the
working
skill
on
you're
metalworking,
proposing?
or is it like, or
What-
can it be like a scientific thing,
Well,
like
what-
something you do for work?
Well, what's the skill you're proposing?
I want to be a quantum physicist. This guy- no,
Like,
really, man. I am
No,
so
like,
into
you know,
like,
like this is gonna be a 2-part answer. 1, no. 2,
Okay.
I will allow it this time, because who am I to stand in the way of your dreams?
That's real nice. I guess it would be good to like be a auto mechanic, because I don't know shit about cars, and like I know software well, like I shouldn't even say well, but like if I had to diagnose a problem on software side of anything, I could probably do that. Hardware I'm not as good with, but I understand computer stuff pretty well. Cars are like foreign as fuck to me. Like I don't understand them at all, and I don't care to really. But if I could magically just download that like matrix style information, that would be great, because then I could go out there, tinker around, I could like keep it up and running good, and like extend the value of my vehicle. So I think it would be cool to be an auto mechanic, but not for any other reason other than to make sure my car doesn't suck.
Nice. Those are 2 answers that we haven't gotten yet. So that's one of those questions I like to ask over and over again, because it's kind of a fun question to ask people. Like the one that I have coming up here, number 4. What is your favorite street food?
So I'm gonna go right off and say pizza, because I think pizza is the very best thing in the whole world that's ever been invented, besides VR.
Yeah, it's up
Pizza,
there.
I fucking love pizza.
Yeah.
That's a really good answer.
This is my shocked face.
Yeah. Pizza's amazing. I'll probably answer the same. I mean, I do enjoy street tacos, and I like like the authentic street tacos. I back in the heyday, I used to party up in Flagstaff, and Flagstaff is in northern Arizona. It's a college town, and it is pretty chilly because it's so high in elevation up there. And we would get drunk in the bars and then go out into the streets, and it's cold as fuck out there. But there's like some little tiny taco stand there where there's like cranking tacos out. It's like tortilla, meat, sauce, just like throwing them out. And those
Sounds
super
delicious.
hot tacos in that cold weather when you're drunk.
After you're drinking,
yeah,
dude.
that was
Yeah,
so good.
magical.
So like if I was gonna walk on the street today and I could have like a burger or a pizza or a hot dog or whatever, I would definitely go with pizza. But my memories, just like the other answer, when I think about my memories and when you ask me that question, I do go to those street tacos in Flagstaff.
It's back to that taco stand.
Yep.
And for me, I would probably have to go with a memory similar to that, to a lovely food truck in Chicago called Tamale Spaceship, and it was surprise, surprise, a food truck that served tamales, but they all wore luchador masks.
Sweet.
And yeah, so there's just something awesome about, middle of a Chicago winter, some dude in a luchador mask selling you a box of tamales. So with a Mexican Coke, and I'm just like, yep, life is good.
My wife's from Chicago, and every every time we go back to visit, man, go to Giordano's and just get like the biggest, thickest pizza. Just things
You like that Chicago
thick.
pizza?
Oh god,
Dude,
it's
See, I'm a New York.
I like them both, but they're totally different foods to me. And
yeah,
I like
they
them for
are.
different reasons.
Yeah,
I lived in Chicago for 6.5 years.
But have you had
Yeah.
like Giordano's in Chicago, like
I've
Illuminati's or like
had Illuminati's.
yeah.
Yeah, Illuminati's is good.
You had them here. So they opened Illuminati's and a Giordano's here in Phoenix.
Which
Actually,
doesn't surprise me at all because let me guess, you guys probably have Culver's down there too, right?
Yeah,
We
we
have
have
everything.
Culver's. We even have a Portillo's.
Yeah, it's because you guys get a bunch of Midwest snowbirds and stuff.
Yeah, and we have the Cubs spring training here and all that.
Yeah,
So
well, like because I lived in Florida for 2.5 years that I can't get back, and the portion of Florida that I was in had a lot of former Wisconsin and Illinois people, so they had a Culver's. They didn't have a Giordano's, but they had like a legit Chicago pizzeria. You know, they had a bunch of that stuff there.
Yeah.
Also, they had Papo's Tacos, which you can't get out of Florida, and that's the only thing I miss.
So true story. Before they opened a Giordano's here, last time I went to Chicago, before there was a Giordano's here, I went and got like 4 of the frozen pizzas.
Was this before there was a Giordano's here?
No, it was before there was a Giordano's here.
Okay.
So before there's a Giordano's here, I got like 4 of the frozen pizzas, and I spent like $200 to overnight them home,
Wow.
and had someone meet him there to put him in a freezer. Yeah, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, and then like once a quarter, that was like my happiest year. I got to
Dude,
eat,
that's
like,
dedication.
pizza every couple. Yeah, dude, I love pizza.
Well, dude, I look, man, I fully understand the love of pizza. Next time you're up around this way, you should take the 2-hour train ride up into Milwaukee, and we'll show you the Milwaukee pizza game. Because while it's not going to be like Chicago style, it's more akin to New York in terms of like crust and cheese and stuff. But Milwaukee's thing is they put a bunch of crazy shit on their pizza.
Ooh.
So like there's this one place by me called Ian's. They've had like a Reuben pizza. So it's a Reuben sandwich on a pizza. It's so good. They like macaroni and cheese pizza is like a consistent thing here.
Where it's at.
Like
Dude, you've been over to Gilbert Pizza?
No.
They do. Oh, you probably wouldn't. They do. Like what is it? Like pasta. It's like big ziti. It's a big ziti pizza. So there's like big ziti on top of the pizza, and that is extremely good. It sounds like it would be way too much starch, but
it absolutely is, but it would be delicious.
It was so good.
When I was a kid, we used to order from this pizza place, and if you wanted, they would like go next door and buy you cigarettes and like bring them with the pizza and shit. You know, we were like friggin' like 14, you know, we're like, yeah, give us some Marlboros, you know, and
I'll take a pack of Camels.
Yeah, so we were wicked high, and I'm ordering this pizza. I'm like, bro, will you go next door and get some M&Ms and put them on the pizza before you cook the pizza? And they did, and they put pineapple and M&Ms, and it was so good. Dude, it was so good. I was very high, but it was good.
Most pizza guys are legit, and if you like put that weird, like, you know, like write a joke on the inside of the box or put pepperonis in the shape of a wiener or whatever, like I bet you'll get it done. Like there's pizza dudes, they're chilling, like they're excited to mix it up.
Oh no. Order. Dude, our host left.
Sorry, it was when the M&Ms and pineapple on pizza. I slowly rolled myself off screen. Well,
that's a weird one. Yeah. I was young. I was high. I mean,
drunk. Look, man, we've all made questionable decisions when we're high. Just mine usually involved like climbing trees, but you know.
Blasphemy. Sorry.
Trying to think, like, what was the most quick? Nope, not sharing any of those stories on this show. But the question number 5, last question I have for you guys. What are some of your favorite YouTube channels? Dude, that's the easy one. Rest of those are hard.
So many. You ready for this?
I mean, are you gonna do? Yeah. Well, so I'm gonna try to answer first, and I'm gonna go into a couple that are non-VR related, because I love everybody's VR channel. Like, if you have a VR channel, I probably watch it, and I probably really like you. So I'm gonna avoid doing the typical plugging all the homies. You can do that if you want.
Okay.
But there's a couple of channels that I do really like. And one of them is MES. That is the Mariachi Entertainment System. They are a band that do mariachi covers of video game music, and they have
Wow.
done some of my favorite renditions of some songs that I love. Like they do one of the Moon from DuckTales on NES, which is like one of my favorite songs in a video game, and it's so freaking awesome with like violins and trumpets and stuff. MES is awesome, and I'm a huge fan of that channel.
Well, this makes me happy.
Yeah, it's extremely good. I actually love watching all covers of video game music. I love video game music, and like when I play a game, if there's a really good song in it, it like resonates and like it triggers memories, you know, and it's like very profound in that way. And I love seeing people do renditions on guitars and orchestral versions, and like I just said, mariachi one is really good too. So you should name one while I think about another, because I have a couple that are really good that I'm blanking on right now.
Oh, right on. So shit. Well, I was gonna plug the ones. So I watch a lot of YouTube. As you know, I just it's fucking awesome. You get to watch anything that any topic. There's a million different things about it, right? And I'm obsessed with VR, so there's a lot of good VR stuff. I really like the rendered reality show Coffee and VR. Those guys are great. Sean and Tyler, they're friggin' amazing show every Saturday morning. It's on before they're East Coast, and they get up early and do it. And I rarely catch it live, but I really like it. I like VR 365. There's just so many good VR YouTube channels that I watch.
You know who I remember one now, and I didn't see it. I'm like looking to see if I can see some of them, but I remember one in my search. And there's a guy that goes by the name Wavy Web Surf, who does like investigative journalism on like the origin of memes. So you'll like see a meme, like the image of I don't know, maybe like the Success Kid or something like that, and he'll like find out who that was, like where he is. He does more like YouTube like infamy and stuff, like guys that had like really popular YouTube channels that have crumbled, or how did they fall, and like what happened to them, where did they go, was Tourette's guy real, where's Tourette's guy now, like those kinds of videos. And he digs into like a lot of the origin, like the OG shit, like the old days of YouTube, like the early days of the internet, and like talks about how it came to be, where it went, and all that stuff. And he's like a super approachable dude, like he could easily be like sitting here at this table and just like bullshitting with us. And his format's really good, and the stories are all really interesting. It's like great to hear like who these people are that you have seen like 5 million times in like memes or videos or whatever. So Wavy Web Surf is one that I really like too.
Nice.
Cool. Amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
What about you, Tom? What do you like?
Oh god, a lot. I mostly watch tech YouTube, like Linus Tech Tips, Paul's Hardware, Bitwit. Just started getting into Gamers Nexus because like I really enjoy like him and Paul. I really appreciate like their kind of dry, just the facts, ma'am, kind of stuff. And like Kyle or Bitwit and Linus, I watched for the humor side of it too. But like Jay's 2 cents every now and then. Like I'm an old school fan of the Achievement Hunter and Rooster Teeth crews.
Rooster Teeth, good stuff there.
Yeah, I got a chance to meet like the core Achievement Hunter crew back in 2015. Like really cool dudes. Like that was awesome because like Jeff Ramsey voiced Griff in the original Red versus Blue. And so he was always my favorite character. So getting the opportunity to sit down and talk with him for a few minutes was just great.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then, like a couple like just video YouTubers like Potato Jet, Maddie Hapoya. Cause in science, cause I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I'm a bit of a nerd. So I watch some nerdy YouTube. So,
what about the slow-mo guys?
I met Gavin. Gavin.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I've actually met him twice. The first time he was really hungover, and so it was just like really brief. But the second time was when I met all the Achievement Hunter guys, because it was him, Jeff, Michael, Ryan, and Jack, and they were playing against the Funhouse crew because it was the Rainbow Six Siege launch event. And I was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, Achievement Hunter guys, big fan, Tom Clancy, how's it going?" You know, and so I just kind of got, like they're fun guys. They were there to have a fun time, and I was there to like just meet some cool people and laugh. And much laughing was happening, and there was a lot of free pizza.
Nice.
Yay, pizza.
I love it.
And then I found $5. No.
I want to recommend another one that I've been into lately, and it's called Soft White Underbelly, and it is a
dude, this is the wrong
I know,
podcast.
no, trust me, you guys are gonna love this. Yeah, it's called
Are
Soft
they-
White Underbelly, and it's on YouTube, and it is it's a series of interviews with people who are who work like as like sex workers, or who are like homeless, or like addicted to drugs, or like maybe they're pimps, or like just like people, like maybe they were like a mob boss or like a mob enforcer back in the day, and it's like
wow, that sounds
all
sick.
these like
Yeah.
like really intimate interviews with people about like their lives and like how they grew up, how they got to that point, what they did while they were doing that shit, are they still doing it, how do they feel about it, and to like hear from all of those people and like hear these guys who work as pimps like really just like level for a minute and like talk about it. It's like crazy. So I really like that channel a lot. Soft White Underbelly. It's very thought provoking and it's a little sad. I mean, you're looking at people who are
Fucked up.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
fucked up. They're, for a lack of a better way to put it, they are fucked up.
Yeah.
And
Wow, I'm gonna check that out.
it's really interesting. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Well, damn.
I mean, my first answer was going to be the Tom Clancy show, but this is Twitch,
Yeah,
technically.
right.
So
Well, I do upload within 24 hours on YouTube.
There it is.
Oh, damn it.
The
should've known
YouTube
that.
cut of this show will have that earlier political joke I was gonna make, but like actually done. I'll like pop like
We're just gonna plug it in.
yeah. I'll put like a little thing there too, where it's like, hey, I screwed this joke up live, so you guys get to watch it.
Well, that gives me a
Nice.
reason to go to the YouTube channel and rewatch this.
Yeah, I mean, just for like the first like few minutes, but that's keeping with the average time that people watch my videos. So
Well, it actually is a completely different experience to like rewatch a show that you've been on. Like for
Yeah.
some reason, the
Yes.
perspective is like so different when you're participating in the conversation,
Yeah.
and then when you take a step out and like listen to the whole thing like together.
You're like yelling at yourself. You're like, no, dude.
I actually
Wait a minute.
find that it's way more cohesive than I remember. Like, because we're
Yeah.
so in tune with like the subtleties of the communication. Like, we know like every millisecond that someone hasn't responded and stuff like that. But when you're just like
Yeah.
watching the show, a lot of that
Yeah.
gets lost, I think. And it's I don't know. I find it even more entertaining sometimes. It's pretty cool. So I probably will watch it again.
Well, it'll be up, let's see, probably 10 or 11 o'clock Central Time tomorrow morning, assuming I get right on the edit after the show's over,
Cool.
which is a big assumption. But, well, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Before we say goodbye, where can people find you?
They can primarily find us on YouTube at youtube.com/Between Realities. That is the VR podcast that we host together. That looks very much like the image that you see before you. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/AlexVR, where I play games. I have a lot of interviews and stuff. Skeeva also has a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Skeeva007, where he posts all of his VR games. And he has a couple videos on there that have brought the attention of people who like watch Joe Rogan's podcast and stuff. There's like an ayahuasca video on Skeeva's channel that has way more views than anything on my fucking channel, and I'm salty about it.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, you
I'm
also
just
got like
kidding.
150 subscribers on there, so whatever, man.
Just kidding. So I have a channel. He has a channel, and together we have a channel, Between Realities.
Together we are the Wild
Right.
Stallions.
We are on Facebook though. We do have a Facebook page. We're on Twitter a lot.
Twitter.
Yeah, find us
Yeah.
on Twitter.
Hit us up on Twitter. Yeah, we talk a lot on Twitter with the community.
Yeah, Alex VR on Twitter. Skeeva. I think
Yep.
it's just Skeeva. on
Yeah,
Twitter.
you can also find Between Realities on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, most of your podcasting sites. So if you don't want to look at our gorgeous faces and our really cool spaceship and all the ridiculous things that we do on it. So, yeah.
Nice.
And I just said sup in the chat, and that is my Twitch channel where I do my flat gaming. I have separated my flat gaming and have recently started streaming on there. So feel free to follow me there as well.
Nice. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll put all that down in the description box down below. And while you're scrolling down there, hey, why not hit that subscribe button? Maybe the little thumbs up, hit that bell. Yeah, I'm really good at working that into my videos, as you all can see.
We've been that's the struggle, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, that is something that I kind of struggle with, because, you want to think that what you're making is going to pull people's attention, but like, man, the thing is you just got to remind people, like, hey, anybody in chat who's not already a follower, go ahead, hit that.
You'll notice if you don't ask people to subscribe after, during like beginning of your video, usually, no one will. But if you do the next video, people will. So it clearly works. So
that's weird. But you know what? I'll just accept it. Well, gentlemen, I will talk with you guys in just a moment. But for now, I have to switch back over to this camera angle.
Thank you so much for having us, man.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Absolute pleasure. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll get you back on the shot for that, because, otherwise it just looks like I'm just,
Sorry. Thanks a lot for having us.
Yeah, of course, man.
This was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. I'm speaking for Skeeva. We enjoyed it a lot. We had a great time.
The only person who didn't have a great time was your headset.
Yeah, this thing's gone. It's trash.
Well, guys, thanks again. I'll talk to you all in just a minute. Now, you all in the audience, thank you guys so much for joining us today. It's always so wonderful to sit here and scroll through your stuff. And look, Timmy, Nick, I have no idea what the hell you two are on about right now. So you have fun with that. For everyone else, thank you so much again for being here. We have another brand new episode tomorrow. It's going to be an early one at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to be sitting down and talking with the CEO of Human Interact. They're making the game Starship Commander Arcade, which is a virtual reality game which puts you in charge of a spaceship, which you control with your voice. And I found out about this game last week, and I was lucky enough to get this interview all set up within like 48 hours of initially reaching out to them. So huzzah! Can't wait. And this is my surprise face, because I didn't think I was going to get it to happen. So until then, everybody, just remember, we got those key things for you to keep in mind. Wear that mask, drink some water, have some vitamins, and most of all, be kind to each other. So thank you all. I'll see you all next time on the next episode of That Time Clancy Show. So until then, have an excellent night. All right. Bye, folks.